nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
$116,000 people die in sub-Saharan Africa each year because of counterfeit malaria drugs.
House set to move against the sale of fake malaria drugs in Nigeria.
It is important that our agencies that have been invited ensure that we get responses to all our requests.
And lawmakers and MDAs meet ahead of the presentation of the 2024 budget. Hello and many thanks for joining us on to House Ticket as we bring you the activities and events of your lawmakers in the 10th House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Dihelia Mamza. The House Committee on Finance, Debt Management as well as that on National Planning have invited leadership of various MDAs to an interactive session to discuss the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, which is a prelude to the laying of the 2024 appropriation proposal to the National Assembly by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This episode of our program captures the initial meetings of the committees with the MDAs. We will also bring you the inaugural meeting of the House Committee on Legislative Budget and Research, in addition to a summary of what transpired during plenary in the last 1 week. Please stay tuned for details coming up shortly. Keep watching.
Hi, about that.
The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Welcome back. Let us take a report of some of the bills, motions as well as matters of urgent public importance moved by lawmakers in the last 1 week. The report is compiled and presented from our studio.
To defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help me God.
Need for the urgent military intervention.
On Tuesday, the 7th of November 2023, Representative Satomi Ahmed moved a motion on the need for urgent military intervention and rescue of farmers from Boko Haram terrorists in Jere community of Borno State.
On Saturday, 4th November 2023, heavily armed Boko Haram terrorists attacked Zabarmari farmers in their rice field working in the village of Koshebe, Karkut, Bulabulin of Jere, Mafa local government area of Borno State. Worried that this attack was carried out by terrorists 20 kilometers away from the Maiduguri, Borno State capital. Further worried that the dynamics and strategy deployed by these terrorist attackers, who were on motorcycles, divided themselves into 3 groups and attacked not using gun, but instead put in the assembly of the farmers together and then slaughter them like an animal. Alarmed that in spite of the terrorist attack on Saturday, 4th November 2023, the current search rescue operation, which is still ongoing, another attack massacre, about 50 persons was carried out in the night on Sunday, 5th November 2023. Further alarmed that if urgent drastic steps are not taken, the area may be overrun by the terrorists, looking at the new tactics they deploy in their operations.
In his prayers, Representative Satomi called on the Nigerian Army to ensure security presence in the region to boost the confidence and safety of residents as well as ensure the rescue of the missing farmers. He further called on the House Committee on Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Preparedness, as well as that on Army to ensure compliance.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted, and referred to the House Committee on Army, as well as that on Disaster Preparedness.
The House knows is fully aware that
Representative Famous Osawaru moved a motion on the urgent need to conduct a baseline survey on fake malaria medication in Nigeria. This was on Wednesday, the 8th of November, 2023.
worried that according to the research of the World Health Organization, WHO, in 2022, it was estimated that 116,000 people, I repeat, 116,000 people die in sub-Saharan Africa each year because of counterfeit malaria drugs. Mr. Speaker, World Health Organization Global Malaria Report 2023 stated that 22 persons die every hour from malaria in Nigeria, making it approximately 200,000 deaths annually. In other words, over a quarter of all deaths from malaria are linked to fraudulent medicines. Thus, the need for a national baseline survey project to collect information on the status of fake anti-malaria medicines, to determine the mode of approach, the level of efforts needed, and probably resources required to dismantle the unfortunate developments of this crime against humanity.
The lawmaker commended NAFDAC for its efforts so far in battling the menace, but urged that more needs to be done in that regard. He called on the House Committee on HIV/AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malarial Control to ensure compliance to the prayer of the motion. The lawmaker proposed an amendment.
NAFDAC is responsible for every drug that comes into Nigeria. They are the ones that have the laboratory to determine which property or which property that goes into those drugs. So I think that this motion should refer to NAFDAC, which is the appropriate agency for drug control.
Those in support should say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted as amended, and referred to the House Committee on HIV/AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malarial Control, as well as that on NAFDAC.
Aware that Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Other motions considered in the week under review includes a call on the Federal Capital Territory to commence issuance of certificate of occupancy to house owners located within the mass housing scheme estate. The motion was moved by Representative Sada Soli Jibia.
Observes that most of the property owners within these mass housing scheme estates have no certificate of occupancy issued to them as a result of one common certificate of occupancy issued in favor of the estate, which negates the principles of tenant and owner protection. Also observes the prospective tenant or buyer or buyers of such properties within such estates may end up in potential disputes or liability issues in the absence of certificate of occupancy.
The resolution taken was to mandate the Committee on Federal Capital Territory to liaise with the Federal Capital Territory Administration to explore and resolve all issues surrounding the lack of issuance of certificates of occupancy to property owners within housing estates and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative action. The motion was referred to the House Committee on Federal Capital Territory.
Mr. Speaker, I read this afternoon.
The House also considered a motion calling on the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) to eradicate drug bunks in the country. It was moved by Representative Emmanuel Upong Udo.
Alarmed that drug bunks are being opened in strategic locations in various cities across the country and fast becoming hostels where young Nigerians are found spending their entire day. These bunks are well known to security agencies and citizens. Worried that drug abuse in Nigeria is growing concern, affecting personal growth, societal values, and health and security risk, with hotels and transport companies allegedly aiding illegal activities.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted with a resolution to urge the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLEA to come up with a mechanism aimed at targeting the eradication of drug bungs in all the states of the Federation. The House then mandated the Committee on Drugs and Narcotics to ensure compliance. Away from motion to bills, the House debated on a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers and establish the Federal Medical Center Kwale, Delta State, and for related matters. The bill was sponsored by Representative Nnamdi Ezechi, who led the debate.
The major objective of this bill is to improve access to medical care, not only for my constituents, but also for the broader well-being of the nation. By having a federal medical center in Kwale, residents within Ndokwa, Okwane Federal Constituency and neighboring areas will no longer need to travel long distances for specialized medical services. This will result in quicker access to care and also reduce the burden of the existing federal medical center in Asaba.
Vote of this motion should say aye.
The bill was voted on, scaled second reading, and referred to the House Committee on Health Institutions.
I rise with the leave of the House to present a bill.
Another bill that scaled second reading was titled A Bill for an Act to Regulate Corporate Social Responsibility in Nigeria and for Related Matters. The bill stood in the name of Representative Olumide Osoba.
Corporate social responsibilities can help to promote economic development and growth. As such, it is important for companies to consider their social and environmental impact and engage in responsible business practices, which is the sole objective of this bill. Honorable Speaker, the influx of expatriate workers into our country can be socially challenging to local communities. They become competitors for local resources and utilize the resources in those communities, crowding out services such as housing, water, security, and other physical and social infrastructure.
In line with the renewed hope agenda,
the bill enjoyed the support of some lawmakers.
The budgetary provisions of the federal government is being done by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. Whenever MDAs are doing their corporate social responsibility and other private sectors, the Budget Ministry can identify areas where there is a provision for the kind of projects they are planning to take to that particular community. And at the same time, is going to define whether these companies, whether extractive or non-extractive, are contributing to the corporate social responsibility or not.
as the Deputy Chairman, Poverty Alleviation Committee, I'm pleading with the House that if corporate social responsibility is regulated properly, this can help the Nigerian people, because we have a lot of these companies set up in our communities. And as we speak, a lot of these companies have corporate social responsibility in their budget. Yet, some of these corporate social responsibilities are not carried out.
Motion should say aye.
The bill was voted on, approved, and referred to the House Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility.
Clerk.
Meanwhile, several bills were presented for first reading. They include National Institute for Cardiovascular Disease Research and Treatment, Kano State Establishment Bill 2023, sponsored by Representative Hassan Shehu Hussein. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2023, sponsored by Representative Peter Akpatason. Medical and Dental Practitioners Act Amendment Bill 2023, sponsored by Representative Emmanuel Ukpong Udo. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2023, sponsored by Representative Muhammad Bello Erufai. Fiscal Responsibility Act Amendment Bill 2023, sponsored by Representative Marcus Onobun.
We will do our best to amend the law.
Proper bills that will move our country forward.
This country needs to come together.
Nigeria will expect a very resolute House of Assembly.
Many thanks for still being there. But if you just tuned in, the program is House Ticket. We just took a summary of some bills, motions, as well as matters of urgent public importance that came up during plenary during the week under review. Up ahead is the report of the House Committee on Finance, Debt Management, as well as that on National Planning on its recent engagement with heads of various ministries, departments and agencies to discuss the medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF, and the fiscal strategy paper, FSP, even as the committee frowned at some of the MDAs who failed to honor its invitation. The details.
All our agencies are expected to remit revenues to the Federation account.
Chairman of the committee, Representative James Abiodun Faleke, in his remarks during the interactive session on Wednesday, 8th November 2023, emphasized that the importance of the interface between the committees and various MDAs was to ensure the accurate passage of the MTEF FSP before the presentation of the 2024 annual budget. He added that, as representatives of the Nigerian people, lawmakers owe their constituents the responsibility of delivering democratic dividends to their doorsteps in line with their campaign promises.
It is therefore our duty as a committee to ensure that Nigerian revenue are domiciled in the accounts that are supposed to have it. It is important that our agencies that have been invited ensure that we get responses to all our requests.
Representative Faleke also emphasized on the importance of revenue for the execution of government programs, noting that the committee has observed various factors that have caused shortfalls in expected income while charging the MDAs to rise up to their responsibilities in the interest of the nation. He said the committee will not accept negligence on their part in not negotiating in the interest of the country.
In as much as the revenue is in this position.
Appearing before the committee on that day was the Accountant General of the Federation, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Madein. She informed the committee that efforts are being put in place to block revenue leakages and increase revenue generation. She noted that the revenue generation and its collection is dwindling in comparison with expenditure set against the money collected.
But currently, series of efforts are ongoing to shore up revenues, block the leakages, and improve on the revenue that are being brought into the Federation. In as much as the revenue is in this position, the expenditures too are not also helping matters, especially with the current economic reality where prices of things are going up regularly. So the expenditures too is on the rise. And definitely the strategies to increase revenues must be worked upon on a continuous basis.
The AGF also pleaded with the committee to assist her office with all the plans, strategies and ideas to support efforts to increase revenue generation.
The Accountant General's office should furnish us with the remittances of this revenue agency by agency. We want the actual remittances from January to date, agency by agency. In fact, from 2022 to date. We are compiling a register of...
Also present at the interactive session was the Chief Executive, Ministry of Finance Incorporated, Mr. Armstrong Katang, as well as the Director of Monitoring and Finance of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, Bello Aliu Gulmari.
Fails to appear, we will get him off that seat.
The committee, however, expressed its displeasure with some of the MDAs who failed to honor the committee's earlier summons. The chairman expressed his dissatisfaction on Thursday, 9th November 2023 at the resumed interactive session of the committee with various heads of MDAs after the Industrial Training Fund Director failed to appear before it.
Honorable colleagues, the letter itself was signed by the DG, which means he ignored our invitation to attend to other functions. And it's a complete affront to the National Assembly. If he fails to appear, we will get him off that seat. Is that the decision of the committee? Yes. Thank you. any delay arising for
The chairman also frowned at the Fiscal Responsibility Commission for failing to provide the committee with the complete necessary documents while giving them the grace to reappear before the committee on Monday, 13th November 2023.
It is clear that these agencies are ignoring or have ignored our invitations. And the House must pass this MTF before the budget is laid. So I want to make it clear that any delay arising for the passage of MTF is surely not the fault of the National Assembly. And so we appeal to the President to direct all his agencies, ministers and all his agencies, to appear before us unfailingly. Thank you.
This event being the inaugural meeting of our dear committee, I sincerely welcome you all.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Legislative Budget and Research held its inaugural meeting on Thursday, 9th November 2023, where its chairman, Representative Mohammed Umar Biu, pledged its commitment to contribute to the budget system. Representative Omar Biu noted that the jurisdiction of the committee covers budget and appropriation of the House of Representatives, providing the House timely and non-partisan analysis for economic budgets, policies and legislative decisions, serving as repository for information on various position papers on the subject from the other standing ad hoc committees within the House as well as other legislatures, articulating projects costs and determining funding sources, coordinating and overseeing the establishment and functioning of Legislative Budget and Research Office of the House of Representatives and/or National Assembly, as well as annual budget.
In line with the mandate and commitment of the leadership of the 10th Assembly, the Right Honorable Speaker constituted various committees to ensure effective legislative activities for the development of our dear country, and House Committee on Legislative Budget and Research is not exempted. Hence, the need for the inauguration of the committee to enable us kickstart the activities of the committee. The National Assembly, as an organ of government, performs critical roles in budget system. This, of course, cannot be done without the contribution of our dear committee.
The chairman noted some challenges while assuring members of the committee of his proposed activities on a work plan to enable the committee function effectively and attain the desired objective.
The work plan includes mailed-in meetings, interface with departments, has partners, has National Assembly Budget and Research Office, that is NABRO, Budget Office of the Federation, Research Office of the Federation, National Democratic Institutes, European Union, United Nations, and other donor agencies, both national and international representation of NABRO bills. Interactive submit and organization of other several programs that will enable the committee achieve its aims and objectives.
He then called for sincere participation and contributions of members of the committee to further discharge their duties to the country for meaningful development.
I want to assure you of...
Some members of the committee pledged their support, after which the committee adopted the work plan.
And to assure you of a total support from the members of the committee for us to achieve success. We assure you and count on us and all the cooperation for this committee to succeed.
Like my colleague has said, I want to assure you of 100% loyalty and cooperation so that we achieve this desired task.
That's the much we can take on the activities of the House of Representatives. He's hoping we've been able to educate and inform you on the activities of your lawmakers in the 10th House of Representatives. House Ticket continues next week with another compilation of the activities of the 10th House of Representatives. God bless Nigeria.